All right, hello, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. With me is Prashant from Brewed Games, and today we are going to just talk about a new report from Newzoo, which is about games market trends to watch in 2024. They just released it, and we just wanted to talk about this from our perspective, what we feel about this, what exactly has been focused in this overall report. And just to give you a context, Newzoo basically puts out these stats, these reports every now and then, and these are like the benchmark, like the people follow to understand how the games market work, right? So, Prashant, let's start slide by slide. Let's take a look at the.
Yeah. So thanks, Vaibhav, for inviting me. And first of all, for everyone who's watching, you can definitely sign up. I think periodically they do keep releasing very interesting trends. And as anyone, like especially if you're into either wanting to take up more like games as a career, or if you, as an indie developer like us, want to know how the industry is, where the industry is heading, then it's always very useful to have these kinds of reports. They kind of give you the big picture. They may not always necessarily give you the information directly, but it gives you a lot of context. And there are other websites that do give out these are all free reports. You can easily sign up to them. And if you guys are interested, I'm sure Vaibhav can share a few more that we also have access to.
Yeah, I will.
So yeah, cool. So this one was released by Newzoo, I think, last end of last month. So this is just talking about the general market trends that they're predicting for this upcoming year.
And
So
this is
Vaibhav,
and this is
yeah,
global, right? And this is global that we are talking about. Yeah, let's
yes.
let's go check out each and every slide what they're talking about, right?
So this is like a very brief overview. I'm not going to get into it. And this is the most important slide in the whole report. And it's kind of summarizing the entire, the biggest trends. Of course, there are so many smaller trends that they cannot capture. But I think this is, what they call at a macro level. And that's what's most intriguing. We'll go into all of these, but some of them are more interesting. And I think between me and Vaibhav, we'll share our thoughts
Yeah.
on each of these slides. So I think, just to start things off, there are some aspects about reading market reports that you can easily learn, especially if you're somebody who has never read these types of reports. If you read through 3, 4 reports, I think you'll understand that there are a lot of common practices that people use in business reports. Of course, there are a lot more detailed reports that go into like, hundreds of pages that usually is, it's kept behind a very, like you'd have to pay like a very big amount to get access to data like that. But as long as you're an indie developer, or you're a smaller studio, most of the generic reports would kind of give you that a head start. And you can always Google many of the terms, or if you use chat gpt, then you can always ask it questions. You can feed it slides. You can try to figure out what this might mean, for your context.
Yeah, there are a lot of terminologies. Basically, what Prashant is saying is there are a lot of terminologies. If you try to read 3, 4 reports, you'll get a sense of it. If just here in this example, CAGR, which is like a compound annual, rate, the growth rate, for any market or a company. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So that is what it is. And I think when you talk about, for each industry, this is a common practice that they would go through. They would give you some context of the last couple of years, and they will predict using a lot of industry methods of how the future is shaping up. Of course, you can never hold on to the exact predictions. They're just estimates.
Yeah.
And of course, reality might be very different. And I think the pandemic was one such example where it changed the shape for a lot of industries.
Yeah, but overall, we've seen growth. Overall, for the last few years, whatever was predicted, the market actually went way ahead than what was predicted. Only in the case of pandemic, and in fact, in pandemic, actually, it was way too bigger because people started playing games, right? So at least for the gaming industry, it was like that. But yeah, projections are based on how it has been before, and based on that, how would the future look.
Exactly. So that is the overall trend. And for a lot of industries, especially even related to tech, I believe last year has been quite challenging. And of course, the overall economy, due to the geopolitical situation and all of that, a lot of industries have been affected, and there's a lot of bad news going around. But I think despite all of that, the good that the gaming industry as a whole, of course, some parts of it is still kind of outweighing, it's kind of absorbing all the pressure. So, net, it's still a net positive, and hopefully the bad times are done, and now the industry is still going to head towards a lot more growth, which is
Yeah,
good for all of us in the industry.
absolutely. Before we move to the next slide, just to give you the perspective on the numbers, what this report says is last year, which is 2023, it went to 184 billion dollars, which is the global games market, and it's expected to cross 205 billion in 2026. Now that's a huge number.
Definitely, that's bigger than many industries would have, and that's the kind of growth, and that's the power of games as an industry. And we know a lot of us in the industry, we keep emphasizing this point, but that is how huge the games industry is.
Yeah.
It's bigger than the entertainment market, than the music market. So it's no longer in the shadow. It's out there, and it's going to keep growing.
Yeah. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. Cool. So this is more about how the general trend, the general sentiment when people in the games industry, if you ask them what their thoughts are, and this is of course very subjective. So the report tries to give people like, they give you the big numbers perspective, but they also give sentiment on what people feel. And it is extremely strong that industry leaders think that the market will continue to recover and grow. So overall, whatever is happening, at least there will be more games that will release, more audience that will keep buying, and more games to be enjoyed. So the market will recover and it will grow.
Yeah, and over here on the right hand side, what they've also mentioned, right? Nobody, I don't know. Maybe I have not read it enough, but I don't see a lot of people talking about games, specifically on console and PCs. In the last 2 years, the amount and the quality of games that have been that those are released, right? Exceptional quality games and a lot of good games. Earlier it was like, this year we have these 3-4 games that people used to play. At this point, if you go and check out the stores for these consoles, too many good games. I don't know if that's like a if anybody's talking about that, but yeah, looking at that, I'm super satisfied, man.
Absolutely. I think 2023 was an amazing year for gaming. in terms of how many like huge hits were released and how successful they were. There were a lot of standouts in 2023, and they did great on console. They did great on PC. I think it was really promising, and definitely think 2024 is also shaping up to be very interesting in terms of the big budget releases. But of course, there have been so many like indie games that have released that were really, really successful.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome.
this is more to a few more questions that they have asked, and the main thing that you can see here is the number of games that are going to be released. That it will be more in 2024. I don't know if this is the report which spoke about it, but end of 2023, there was I think there was an article released by Steam as to the number of games that were launched in 2023. And I believe it was close to 8,000. I think it was
Damn.
like 8,000 games.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, so it looks like most of the industry leaders think that there's going to be same, if not more,
yeah.
number of games
Hmm.
that's going to be released. It's crazy, crazy numbers.
Yeah. Game development budgets will increase in 2024.
So
But
that I guess people are like
yeah,
a little
you
bit
can
mixed
neither
on.
agree nor disagree. And most
Yeah,
of them disagree. Uh,
yeah.
because
I think
I also feel like there are a lot of advancements that have happened which has drastically decreased the cost of development also. We spoke about AI a while before, right? And I think it's one of the key reasons also that we've seen recent layoffs that are happening. I mean, it's pretty bad, pretty sad thing happening, but I think everything boils down to the optimization of budgets that game development studios are spending on the games. And I think I almost agree in this case that the budgets wouldn't increase. What's your thought?
Yeah, I think already, especially if you look at the AA and AAA games, the budgets are mind-bogglingly high. Like you can't even imagine, like it's reaching like crazy numbers. So I think reflecting the state of the economy and game development in general, I think this is a correctional phase. And also, like you said, you now is the time to optimize. So I think whether it be your workflows, your processes, just to cut off a little bit so that you're able to focus more on what's important. So I guess for the bigger studios, that's how it is. I guess for the indie studios, of course, we always work with the bare minimum. So for us, I guess nothing much changes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What's your thought on the next
Compared
question?
to 2023 investments from VCs and other, 100%. I feel 100%. See, at least in India it will.
Yeah,
At least in India it will. Although this is like a global report, but I very strongly feel that India um, investments this year would be way more than what happened last year, because the last year was the lowest number, man.
oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, only a few bigger companies made those rounds. Otherwise, I didn't see it happening. So yeah, I feel it will grow in India.
Right, right. Yeah, I think at least the next few years in an Indian context, I think it's seeming quite positive. I think there are a lot of new initiatives and a lot of cool games that are getting produced. So as all of them, get launched and people start to understand it, and I think it's already going to start, and hopefully it's great if it can also pick up on a global level. So something for us to wait and watch, I suppose.
Yeah, let's wait.
All right. These are some specific thoughts from certain industry leaders. Uh, I don't think we need to go
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah, we don't. We
detail.
don't. I'll anyways
All right.
share this report in the description so that people can go through it. Let's talk
Absolutely.
about the key pointers.
Great, great. I think we can quickly go through this as well. The first question
The
being about the
games
games.
market will
Yeah,
experience significant mergers and acquisitions. This also I strongly believe it will happen, which I think 64% of the people
yeah.
are saying.
At this point, I'm just thinking about like which other big studio is even there for a bigger company to come. You
Yeah,
know,
no, we actually it's
it's crazy.
it's crazy because every now and then there is like we all know these bigger gaming companies, but I don't know for some reason collaboration of someone with someone with some other is like a like the news that came out 2-3 days back about Disney and Unreal.
Right, crazy that was.
Who thought about this, man? Nobody had any clue what's going to happen, right? So you never know, man. Like eventually I think there will only be like 2-3 players
Yeah,
in the whole.
I think that's not an ideal scenario. I think there always needs to be healthy competition, but yeah,
Yeah,
let's see.
unfortunately.
Market forces. You can't fight it.
Yeah, new IP will dominate the games market in 2024. 91% people said no, and I think they're right.
Man, that's also kind of sad for me as a gamer. Uh, I do love all, there's so many IPs that are already established, but the joy of playing a new game set in a new IP that you fall in love with or that you absolutely enjoy. So I wish that they are wrong, that there will be some new IP that will capture the people's imagination. But I guess from a commercial and business sense, they're all doubling in on something that's already working.
Which also makes
Like,
sense, right?
yeah, like if we see like the Indiana Jones game, like that is
Yeah,
a crazy IP,
yeah.
and to see the game that they're kind of building, it's pretty crazy. So I guess I can see why they're not very confident about new IP.
But they say old, repurposed, licensed IP will dominate the games market.
Yeah,
There's no question about saying no to this.
yeah, yeah,
We just spoke about Disney and Unreal thing, right?
yeah.
Disney has so many IPs, and this is basically going to be, you know, an expansion into a new category
Yeah,
with all these IPs. So hands down,
definitely.
it's yes, man.
Oh man, we don't even need to spend time. We know it's going to work. All right. So I think the second trend from the report is 2024 will be a lean year for gaming companies.
Hmm.
So I guess a lot of people still feel that they're completely against that. That's interesting.
Yeah, games companies will take riskier bets with games. Games companies will take riskier bets with games. People are against that.
Yeah.
Lean, they are very sure it's going to be lean.
Yeah. I think that is the question is, yeah, I think you
Yeah,
got it right.
yeah, the unfortunate layoffs, as they say. But yeah,
It's a cycle. So I think after the pandemic, there was so much growth, and it was like everyone was excited. I think the kind of games that you could get published or investments for in 2020 and 2021, I think like from then and from now, I think it's very different. And I think again there will be an up. I think right now it's the correctional phase, and
yeah.
hence I think the
People
linear phase.
actually in pandemic or post pandemic, people raised their own bars. Just to
Yeah,
give you, and they couldn't reach to that the next year. Just to give you an example, very small example, but if you consider India, look at Ludo King.
oh man,
There
I'd
is no,
forgotten about them.
yeah, there's no successor, to be honest.
Right.
Correct. There's no successor for Ludo King.
I guess
So
it's like
yeah,
first mover advantage in the in a certain context, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Let's see what the next question is. Compared to 2023, the industry will experience a significant increase in the number of layoffs.
Oh boy, this is scary.
But I think most of the people are disagreeing with that.
Yeah, most of the people are disagreeing.
That's hopefully that's
I
true.
hope these are
Yeah,
founders.
these are the ones who are making the calls. I
These are the
agree.
founders.
I agree, man. But surely, hopefully, the end for this bad period is nearer, and
Yeah,
hopefully, like the worst is behind the industry. So at least that I think maybe even if there are a few, but at least if it can finish soon, it would be like pretty great.
yeah. But you know what? This layoff thing, I mean, it's not the right thing to say, to be honest, at this point when like for anybody who's a part of this layoffs, uh,
Yeah.
like bigger companies who did massive layoffs, think about a positive situation out of this chunk of good people that had to leave the company, attempting to start their own companies, and creating that culture, or bringing new studios in the industry, from whatever they've learned at that bigger company,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, just a tiny
Definitely hope.
brighter
Yeah.
brighter side of the story.
No, definitely. I think this will give people a lot better idea that they need to be able to maybe pursue dreams of their own that they had put off for a while,
Yeah,
and hopefully build that amazing project or game that they've dreamt of.
yeah.
And maybe this will give some people the chance to do that. So yeah,
No, the
we
best
can
thing,
definitely be
the
hopeful.
best thing is these people have learned that production pipeline of a triple A quality company, right?
Exactly.
And then even if you go indie after that, you actually extract that knowledge,
Yeah,
and implement in your company, in your new company. So I think, eventually it's like building a good culture, with newer studios also, like so. Yeah, I mean, layoffs are obviously
definitely.
bad, but some hope.
Yeah, definitely hoping. All right. Moving on to the next trend, multi-game subscriptions user growth will slow down.
the nu-
Okay.
the number of users for game subscription services, example Xbox Game, will increase.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Already they have like, first of all, these subscription services, they have the power to have any game that they want, and they're slowly like, making you okay with not having a game in your library. But of course, I personally am of the type that, I would like to own the game that I play so that I can play it whenever I want. But yeah, you can't fight the trend, I guess, right?
No, I'll give you my example, right?
Sure.
I had a PS4, 3-4 years back, and I had a PlayStation subscription at that time, and then I discontinued it, and all that stuff. I took a long break, like I didn't play console games for 2-3 years. Recently, I got a PS5. Okay,
Okay.
and
Awesome.
I had I saw, a new improved subscription service, from what I had earlier, right? So
Right.
it was like there are monthly payments that can be done. There are, three categories of PlayStation Plus and all that stuff. I'm telling you, I it blew my mind to
Yeah.
see the amount of games that I just got. Like, just to give you an example, it the deluxe plan, for me was like 850 per month kind of thing. But I'm telling you, the moment I bought that, no, for the in the next 12 hours, I might have downloaded at least games worth 20,000.
Yeah, I'm not at all surprised. It's that choice, right? Suddenly you're like in a candy
Yeah,
shop and you can have whatever candy you want, and there
and
is no
I
like,
don't think I'll stop this subscription ever. I would be happy to give more also for the
yeah,
amount of things that these guys are providing.
yeah. It's almost like a buffet, right?
Yeah,
You get all the option. You can have how much ever of whatever is on offer.
yeah, and I
So
know.
that's the
So
advantage.
I'm playing Plague Tale right now.
Oh,
Okay, I love the game. It's crazy, yeah. But I know the fourth game that I'm going to play after I finish this. I know the fourth game.
oh,
That's like a list of
right,
games that I have now that I'm looking forward to, and which is like kind of a motivation to sit and finish this so that I can move on to this game.
right.
Otherwise,
No,
it's like
definitely.
yeah,
Definitely, I think these subscription services, they make it very convenient. They make it so convenient that you just can't. It's like the OTT subscription service, right? Like you have Netflix, things, new content keeps getting added, and similar to that, new games. And I think nowadays with both of the
monthly
subscription
games. Yeah,
services,
there's something
yeah,
with monthly games.
they're even doing day one releases
Yeah,
directly onto like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. So you just get to play new games.
yeah.
So that's also pretty crazy without having to spend as much.
There are
It's
trials. There are
also tempting.
trials also.
Oh, right. Demos and all of that, right?
Yeah. Cool. It's. I think it's definitely going to
Yeah.
increase.
This is a very interesting trend. Companies returning to developing premium games. What are your thoughts on this, Vaibhav?
Um, this I'm not really sure because probably I'm not in sync with what's happening on models like arcade, like Apple Arcade or specifically mobile. I'm not really
Right.
into that premium anymore. Uh,
One of the things they say in this is mainly on the live service model. So I think initially there was so much that was going well for live service model, business model, even on PC.
yeah.
But I think in terms of PC premium games, I think people are coming back to, like, we see like Hogwarts Legacy, or we see like Elden Ring, games like that where it's just like pure PC premium games, and they're doing crazy numbers. Hogwarts Legacy, like, this yesterday the news came out that they sold 22 million copies. Like that is
Wow.
insane, insane numbers. And I'm yet to buy it. I want to, but
That's
it's
like
just showing
yeah.
that it's just coming back.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Crazy. Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, most of the people are saying it. So yeah,
cool. Trend number 5: mobile developers will turn to PC gaming.
which is what is happening in India right now.
So interesting story that, even, I mean, you know this as well. We ourselves were developing for mobile, and then last year we made the call to develop to PC. I mean, we've never launched a game before, so I suppose for us it still doesn't matter. But you have something to share on this, Vaibhav?
Yeah, I do. I know a lot of developers now who applied
Right.
to the publishing or
Right.
the models that are yeah,
Initiatives.
initiatives that
Right.
are being offered. Everybody, the previous game that they made was a mobile game. Just to give you
Okay.
an example, also these guys, Bond Monkey. If you see what Occult Chambers uh, is right now, it's it's a
Looking
huge
amazing.
jump. It's a huge jump in quality and everything
Yeah.
from what they had. I remember I played their game, which was a rickshaw tuk kind of a Auto Raja, I think it was called. It was like a mobile game or mobile or PC something. Mobile, I think it was.
Right.
But the shift from an arcade game to like a console quality game is
Yeah,
They are doing it, you're doing it, we are doing it. So a lot of
yeah,
people are doing it, man.
it's
And
pretty interesting.
one of the reason I feel is because now it's become a bit easier compared to what it was earlier, right? Right from the engine, the capabilities, to the support systems that are now available, the amount of information that you can get on the internet and in the community,
Right.
even if you get stuck on things, right? So, and it's not just about money now. I feel it was more about an understanding of how to make a game, how to make a big PC or console game, which now people understand really well. So I think it's one of the reasons.
That's true. And in this, in this report, what even they like Newzoo has found is that how do you even, I guess, how do developers of limited means compete with bigger studios who have 5 to 6 to 7 years of game content packed into one? Like you can't even compete, especially on like mobile.
Yeah.
That combined with how expensive it is to like acquire users, I think that's also something that they do refer to. So it's just a bit easier, perhaps, like the barrier to entry. At one point, the barrier to entry for mobile was a lot lesser, and that's what it was like the gold rush for mobile games, I suppose, like what, 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it seems like people are coming back to PC and console because the expectations of the player is different
Hmm.
and it's lesser. On PC, you make a game, you make a great game, but it's 6 hours. People will still buy it if it's really good.
Yeah.
But I think on mobile, the loops are different and their expectations also are different. Maybe you can answer to that point more.
No, no, absolutely. You're right. Like there, it's two different worlds, man, and it also depends on the demographics.
Right,
You don't expect anything in India where where people will actually spend money in buying your game. I mean,
right,
there is a certain chunk of audience that will do it, but
right.
you can't make a lot of money from that model. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
All right. So
But they say they say it's 50-50. Yeah, by the way.
here is it.
It's almost like
Okay.
no decision made.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no agreement.
Yeah.
Everyone's agreeing to disagree. So next question is mobile developers will be increasingly affected by changes in the privacy landscape.
Oh man, this is I hate this
Yeah.
random policies that come, man, every now and then to destroy the industry.
Okay. So I have no idea about this, but uh, is this something that can happen? I'm guessing it can happen anywhere in the world, and then all the developers have to like change their systems and things.
Yeah, I mean, see, this is like a simple example. I mean, they're not specifically mentioned what policies and
Right.
what things, but you saw how the ads were stopped in kids. When Copa came and when IDFA policies were brought in. Now, you know, banning a certain game because it's from a certain country. Then again,
Right.
something comes up as in categorized as an online game versus a gambling game versus a freemium game. Right now there is this debate going on, and a lot of people are facing this problem in India, where the money from outside India, if it's coming to your account, to your company account, and if you are in gaming, it's not allowed. I mean, I'm not sure if it's only for gaming, maybe in other cases also, but we've had these discussions. In fact, Ranveer from Godspeed also initiated this discussion a couple of weeks back, where the remittance which
Right.
is coming to your account as a problem now. When I checked with my bank, right, it was more on um, they consider you as an online, which is slash gambling company. It's your money is coming
Wow.
because of gambling, something like that. And then there is a
Right.
lot of conversation that you need to do with FEMA, the foreign exchange guys, and all that stuff. I mean, I'm saying these things majorly are happening on the Play Store, on the mobile side,
Right.
more than the PC and console, and it's
Right.
affecting. It's definitely going to. It's still affecting. You know what RMG. What
Right.
happened with RMG also. So you never know what could come in 2024.
Yeah, man, that sounds pretty crazy. Do you think like PC games and console games also fall into they get affected by a lot of these things?
They might, man, but not at
Mhm.
that scale. Not at the scale what mobile faces, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
because the channels also for PC and console games are very streamlined.
right.
So
Okay. Interesting. All right. So, trend number 6. The next Nintendo console will launch with a new 3D Mario game. Okay, this is very specific. My God, I think the Switch itself as a platform has done amazingly well,
yeah,
and I think like it's been like nothing short of like awesome stuff that they've done. Even though they discussed and they just said, okay, we'll only do this one platform, but I think the quality of their games has saved them, and like they've helped them retain that status. I think as a developer and publisher, and I at least on this aspect, I think they do need this. They do need a new console that's going to take them to the next step because I think a lot of games they do end up having a lot of performance issues because it's time. It's time for the Switch, current Switch version to like move on to be retired, perhaps.
how many, like
But
six,
yeah,
7 years
yeah,
past, right? Yeah.
seven
Uh,
seven
s-
years.
oh yeah, the return 7 years.
Yeah,
Um, it's a base. What I feel is Nintendo Switch is a beautiful blend of console plus arcade games. It's like a mix of mobile and and you can play all. Majorly, have you noticed more of arcade games have done really well on Nintendo Switch?
yeah. I remember kind of reading somewhere as well that the target audience breakup, on a gender terms on Nintendo Switch is like they have a lot of female gamers as well
Hmm.
because the platform itself is very friendly in terms of like it's almost like a mobile device, but at the same time I think the type of games it's appealing to both demographics, but it's also compelling for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It's not a game that they pick up and they play for half an hour. You have games that women also would pick up and then they'd play for hours and weeks and months just like us. So I think that's also something that Nintendo has done really well with its
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah. So let's hope that they release this in 2024, man.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of developers out there, I think again the challenge as soon as a new platform comes out
Dev
is
kits.
there are, yeah, get dev kits, but then immediately try to release games on it because I believe even with the Switch, I think in the first 3 4 years, I think people were getting a lot of sales there because the number of games that were working well were very few.
Yeah.
So I think again there's going to be like a gold rush where everyone is like trying to build
Yeah.
games and launch it ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. Something else very interesting that people predict that Xbox will launch a mobile store on Android.
Look at the disagreement. It's zero.
Yeah, that's true. And I believe in the last week or so, there was some other news article that came out that Xbox will not have a problem releasing it on Apple as well,
They will,
on
they will,
iOS, right?
they will, but after Android.
Okay, okay. So that's what they're thinking about.
Yeah, but they're definitely doing this.
It's pretty crazy what Xbox is doing. In fact, couple of days back there was more news about how they will be bringing their lot of their exclusives that were supposed to be limited to the Xbox
Xbox.
platform.
Yeah,
They're now going to be there on PlayStation.
yeah,
So suddenly it feels like they don't want to be limited to the platform, I mean to the console, but they want to like have their dominance. They want to be earning money and selling their games everywhere. So it's a very interesting strategy.
yeah,
So yeah, shall I move on?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay, so something related to live service games where nostalgia will be a key driver. So that's interesting, but I'm not really sure that I have any strong opinions on this particular trend itself.
Yeah. See, one of the things that I observed was, if you look at the top charts on any
Right,
of these, or you look at PC, look at other games or other consoles also. If you look at the top charts, specifically on Steam,
right.
you'll find 8 out of 10 games uh, are having live services into it.
Wow, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it because that's where they sell more, right? That's where there
Right.
is a potential to make more money.
Yeah,
So I think yeah, if bigger studios, mid-scale studios would definitely try to incorporate live services in all the games that they are building. I feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. And there's nobody here disagreeing with that at all. So I think this is like something that I guess is a given in the industry.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, very interesting trend. I can't believe it was trend number 9.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts, Vaibhav? Generative AI will accelerate game production.
Yeah, yeah. We spoke about this earlier also. I feel it's hands down. I don't know why there's disagreement and there's neither agree or not disagree. There are still people who are thinking that it's not going to help. I feel it is not, and I think all of these people who are saying no also, right, they're already using it in their daily lives at this point, while they're choosing not to say or talk about it. um, look at the small scale development also. Like, you're building a PC game. We are building a PC console game. Um, we are also building freemium mobile games, right? Even in that freemium small mobile game, there is like 20-30% usage um, for AI. Uh,
Right.
and it's actually drastically optimizing the production pipeline for us also. So I strongly feel that it will. What do you think?
So I think till maybe like, close to like November or December of last year, I think at our studio, we really weren't hearing or observing or learning anything about what generative AI can do. We just knew the basics. Okay, there's Chat GPT, then there's Mid Journey, and there's this whole discussion and debate about does it become plagiarism and all of that. So we just weren't doing anything about it. But then again, I think it's become such a huge, uh, giant topic nowadays that you can't avoid it. You can't not know about it.
Yeah.
So it started with curiosity, but I think as a studio, we're at a place where we need to be able to use every advantage that we get.
Yeah.
I like definitely in terms of like an example, like how I use it for research. It's a research assistant. Things that I could do, and we were discussing this earlier. Things I would take 4 days to manually, painstakingly do. I can now do it in an hour,
Yeah.
and it's really more about it can't, like at this point it's like a very fancy research assistant. That's exactly what it is. What it's giving, there is no way at all whether to know is that true or not, but you as a user need to be able to be verified. It can give you so much information at a glance, but you still need to be able to verify it, but it can still save you so much time.
Yeah.
So in all these admin tasks, I find it very useful. And there are so many other, like this is something throughout our studio. We want each person to be curious, to experiment, to see how it can make things easier. That's all. We're not expecting it to change our lives, even though we think it might, but at least make things, like things that took us 10 hours, if it can take us 9 hours, then we can focus on the important problems. We don't need to focus on all problems.
Yeah.
So that is something I think, in programming, I think it has hugely benefited us. We only have one programmer, but even for him, as soon as he started like using Copilot, the number of things that where he says that, yeah, I still have to come up with the logic, but the number of repetitive tasks, I don't need to do it, because it's smart enough. If I give it the right context, it can do. If I can do it once, it can do it the other 99 times. So that lets him only use his time trying to solve problems that matter, and not try to solve the same problem again and again.
Yeah.
Does that?
Yeah. No, 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 absolutely. See, our originality is originality. Like people
Yeah.
will always. I'm not saying that you need art, so you do this and you use that art and all that stuff. It's more on the research side. It's more on eliminating the redundancy of the work that you do. There is a
Yeah.
lot of repetitive stuff that you do. You can actually train the model in a way where it can actually pick up a trail and start helping you ahead, right? I mean, and eventually it's like anybody and everybody should actually everybody should use it in whatever field or whatever things that they are doing, because it's there to help you, and
Yeah.
they
Exactly.
also say that it's not about how smart the AI is, it's about how smart you are,
Right.
to make correct use of it. So I think for me it has always accelerated the game production.
That's amazing, and we're only discovering every other day. There are so many new tools, and it just kind of puts things into perspective. Like the things that we took for granted, that yeah, there is no other way. We have to do this manually itself.
Yeah.
But so many things on a day-to-day basis, we see these new trends, and then we're like, why the hell were we doing it manually?
Yeah.
Like it kind of puts a lot of questions into our workflow, where we keep thinking if it can be automated, it probably should.
Yeah.
Of course, there not everything can be, and if you automate everything, it loses its unique voice, its unique vision, and it will definitely it will smell of automated this thing. But at least the boring stuff you can automate, and you can spend more time on making, using the creative juices, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Cool.
So cool. Yeah. And let's see. Okay, very interesting. Last and final trend: open world souls like games will take the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, do you want to talk
No,
about it, or
you
shall I?
you you should talk about it.
Oh, okay, great. So I think it's been a long journey for Souls-like games, from Demon Souls and then Dark Souls. What started off as a very elitist, very niche thing to do, where you'd be that one crazy person who loved Souls games, and everyone else were like, what is wrong with you? Why do you like, like torturing yourself almost? But then there was something very cool about Souls games that we ourselves at Brute Games we loved, and with the release of Elden Ring, I think it really brought it to the mainstream, to show that skill-based games can also be successful. Difficult games can be successful. That let's say there is a game director with a certain vision for the game, and the director says that, look, this is the vision for my amazing game, and if I dilute it by adding easy modes, or if I make things too easy that the player does not even have to try, then the game is no longer the the great thing that I have in my mind. So I think that's what Souls games. Of course, you can't keep playing Souls games all the time. At least I can't, because it can be very it can be very heavy. But there are times where the Souls games themselves are so incredibly challenging and stimulating.
Yeah.
If you play Elden Ring, you don't have microtransactions, you don't have any of that. If you've beaten the final boss, you've beaten the final boss. No one can question, no one can ask, was it easy? Did you use this? Did you use that? You know that they have mastered a challenge. So that's why, and Souls games have been doing so well, and there are so many cool projects here. Right here we have a couple of them. I think Black Myth, Wukong, I think that is going to be amazing. Elden Ring is going to have a DLC. Rise of the
Rise
Ronin,
of the
I
Ronin.
think
I'm
that's going to
very,
be
yeah.
amazing, man.
You
That's
have you also checked this news? Rise of the Ronin could be like the first game for PS uh, 6.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. But I thought this game was going to release this year.
This year?
Is the next console also? Yeah.
Uh,
Or is it next year? I think it's releasing this year,
this year.
because they announced in the state of play. So I think they're going to have it pretty soon.
Okay. Okay. I read somewhere about this.
Oh,
Yeah. That
maybe,
they.
maybe.
Okay. No. 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 Not.
Eh,
Not. Not. No. 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 It was not Rise of the Ronin. It was about. It was about Kojima's third game.
oh, okay. The stealth,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
new stealth action game,
Yeah. Yeah. That game.
which is
That
not
game.
going to be
My
called
bad.
Metal Gear Solid. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only calculation is that that game might come in 2028, which is where PS
Right.
is.
It would be the right time for a new
Yeah,
platform, new console.
crazy guy.
Okay. Awesome. But yeah, a crazy time. If you like Souls games, then it's pretty crazy that there's going to be so many new games for people to get stuck in.
Stuck in.
So awesome. Awesome. So I think we've definitely spoken a lot about it.
Yeah.
So Vaibhav will be sharing the report. I will quickly move on. I think.
Yeah. What I'll do is Yeah, I mean, this is the report, right? This is everything. These are 10 trends that Newzoo feels from all the research that they've done, which will be big in 2024 for the global games market. I will share the report for you to download directly in the description. I'll put a link. But we'll keep on doing these things. We have a lot of data and information to share on the industry. So whenever we have something very interesting, we will sit like this, chat about it, and give that information. Prashant, you want to add any last words to this video?
I think just if you're an aspiring indie developer, you have the burden of not only developing an amazing game, which in itself is tough, but you also are expected to know how the market is, how the trends are going. You need to be able to wear multiple hats, that of a marketing person, that of a person running a business. So all of these are things that you should have a lot of curiosity towards. And as you read more reports, you get a more context, and then you interact with you know people like Vaibhav, and then you expand your understanding of the industry. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, last but not least, please wishlist Prashant's game, Winds of Arcana. I'll put
Yes.
a link to that game also, the Steam page in the description. All right, guys, it was fun. See you all in the next video. If you like this video, please hit a like button. If you are watching this video or this channel for the first time, do subscribe. That's it from us in this video. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.